LogLogic ST, part of 360-degree Insight, and the heart of Get, See, Use. We contend that storage of IT data is not something you tack on to the back of a SEM or analytic engine in order to achieve some semblance of compliance with data retention laws. It is front and center the most significant addition you can make to your infrastructure in order to gain visibility and control, delivering you improved security, greater compliance, and all the information you need to plan and operate an optimized IT service. By centralizing your collection of IT data into log management, NetFlow systems, SIEM solutions, employee tracking tools, etc., you're accidentally overcomplicating an already complex system. You force each data source to have multiple forwarding rules. You waste bandwidth. You waste device resources. But more importantly, you create silos of information, when what you really need is to be able to see everything that has happened or is happening from one place. Our ST Data Warehouse, the range of ST appliances, eliminates waste by centralizing all IT data. It auto-identifies the incoming data, whether from our universal collector or some other source, and adds structure to that data, in part thanks to our customizable taxonomy. We then normalize and index everything we see, enabling customers to benefit from a lightning-fast searching and reporting tool. Our extreme open forwarding technology means we can act as a warehouse for any vendor's analytic engine, adding scalability and resilience to a solution you may already have purchased. Front-ending your analytic solution with our warehouse will, for the first time, truly enable you to see everything that is happening within your infrastructure. We build the world's fastest, most scalable, secure IT data warehouse. Period. Our sustained ingest, normalize, enrich, index, and then store rate is 150,000 messages per second. In order to cope with the peaks of DOS attacks and chatty firewalls that go rogue, we've tested at peak rates of 250,000. We have one customer that regularly sees over 300,000 messages a second. So when we say we build the biggest, we mean it. We're an order of magnitude faster than anyone else. But capturing data is only half the story. You have to be able to actually store all that information in an accessible format for many years. And there again, we focus on going one step beyond the aspirations of the competition. Our largest box has 7 terabytes of usable storage, which, when you consider we use a 10-to-1 compression ratio on stored data, gives even the largest customer plenty of room, an average of 70 terabytes of stored data. We also securely store hash keys for all this data in a separate location so that we can verify the integrity of the archive. Of course, we also play nicely with your corporate environment too, building NAS and SAN-aware devices so that you can centralize all your storage needs. Regardless of which storage method you select, you'll also benefit from our fully automated data retention and deletion policy control. Sometime, for logistical, performance, or organizational reasons, you'll want more than one appliance. And again, we have that covered. The appliances are managed in a peer group. That means you can remotely control multiple appliances as if they were one device. For the very largest organizations, we have a separate appliance manager that can oversee the operation of hundreds of LogLogic appliances. On top of this mountain of data, we add our distributed indexing system so that you can search through everything to quickly and easily see the data that is important to you, regardless of what physical appliance it's stored on. And by see, we really mean see. We index the data based on our deep understanding of over 340 different IT data sources. Add this to our log labels technology that allows you to tag your own sources, and we have the ability to rapidly get at any data. Of course, you could even use old-fashioned regular expression if you wished. Multidimensional analytics improves IT productivity, accuracy, and coverage for audit, investigations, and troubleshooting, over one-dimensional log search platforms. LogLogic delivers both parsing, or multi-dimensional search categorization and reporting, and indexing, or one-dimensional search and reporting. The warehouse's data structure offers hundreds of fields that can be individually manipulated on the fly, and the index data store gives you access to all fields for targeted, fast, and universal search and reporting. Building an IT data warehouse on this scale is impressive, but getting the data out is just as equally important. That's why we built our open forwarding technology. We're the only IT data management appliance capable of forwarding to multiple analytics engines at the same time. And as I've said before, it doesn't matter if they're not our engines or those of the competition. We're totally open. You could also opt to build your own portal, GUI or command line, through our services-oriented architecture and open API, strategically extending LogLogic's IT data warehouse completely across your enterprise. There are many reasons to use the ST appliance as your warehouse, but the main reason is to answer the question, what else happened? All the alerting vendors and dashboard manufacturers out there will insist that knowing what's happening right now on your network is the most important thing. And they're right, of course, up to a point. Knowing that someone has successfully breached your security is a good thing. Knowing that your data is currently not in compliance with PCI is a good thing. But once you know that, you need to ask the question, what else happened? Answering that question is the reason over 1,000 enterprise-class customers have purchased an ST appliance. It is simply the best way of doing long-term forensics using IT data. As you can see, physically, our appliances are state-of-the-art tricked-out boxes, more than capable of meeting your demands. The ST4020 has 8 processors, 12 gigabytes of RAM, and multiple redundant disks, giving you 7 terabytes of actual disk space. We've certified the appliances as being able to simultaneously connect to 16,000 separate IT data sources. Of course, in our experience, customers always ignore the limits we claim and push the boxes as far as they can. We have one customer that has over 24,000 devices connected to their ST appliance. Why do we offer appliances and not software for the warehouse? Predictability. It's as simple as that. We offer you a solution that will perform as advertised, regardless of what else is going on your network. We're constantly investing in the latest technologies, both hardware and software, in order to get the most from our warehouse. We use RAID 5 rather than RAID 1 because it's optimized for long-term retention, which is what you want for raw logs and indices. While the ST4020 and competitors both use RAID 5, LogLogic gives you a spare drive, so that if a drive fails, you're healed faster. This not only improves reliability, but gets you back to a standard performance configuration faster. We also ensure that log ingest is our highest priority. On an overloaded system, you'll notice that indexing falls behind, reports get slower, and searches aren't as fast. We do this because our priority is to safely store your IT data. We can always do all the other important stuff as soon as there's a break in the ingest storm. We also use a commercially backed version of Linux rather than an open source variety. Again, this is so that we can give you predictability. It also allows us to certify against third-party worm drives and more easily helps us blend into your corporate infrastructure. As part of our build program, we do continuous penetration testing. We validate the build quality of the software and the hardware, and while we strive to offer a high mean time between failures, we also offer full replacement kits if needed. All of this adds up to a lower total cost of ownership, a faster initial install, and reduced ongoing burden. Appliances for IT data warehouse use make sense. It's not all about the hardware, though. We're heavily invested in our software, too. The current release of the product offers a new user experience designed to accelerate the tasks administrators perform the most often. Because our appliances see so much more than the competitors, we've had to invent technologies to structure all that data, to make it easier for you to navigate. We've created dynamic device type technology that automatically identifies data sources. We've created dynamic grouping rules that enable you to automatically create management pools based on IP ranges, types, or other factors. We've invented the world's first drag-and-drop IT data structuring tool called Log Labels. Log Labels enables you to take any data source and using point and click to rapidly create a taxonomy for it that you can use in indexes, searches, and reports. We do all this knowing that you operate a team of IT professionals that need to collaborate in a structured and controlled way. So we added centrally managed catalogs, access control, and full auditing. Finally, we've added the ability to take the complex, multi-line logs that are created by modern applications and treat those as completely as you would any other source. There's really no IT data that we can't see with our technologies. As we've mentioned before, we pride ourselves on building the fastest, most scalable IT data warehouse available anywhere. But how big is big? Twitter are not a customer of ours, but we did some basic math using the numbers that they make public. They produce 7 terabytes of log data per day. Now, we don't know what's in those logs or how big each message is. The smallest regular common log out there is Cisco Pix at about 300 bytes, and one of the longest is Windows at over 2,000. From our experience, the average log or event record is about 700 bytes. We divide those two numbers together and then factor in the number of seconds in a day, and you get the estimate that Twitter is producing over 127,000 log entries per second, every minute, every hour, every day. Twitter, of course, doesn't just produce logs. It produces millions and millions of tweets. We've all seen the flow pouring into our Twitter decks and streams, but actually, the logging that takes place invisibly behind Twitter is much more active than the conversations that we, the public, see. According to Twitter, the actual tweet rate is quite low. They reckon they push 70 million 140-character messages per day. That's only 800 per second. So, Twitter produces 127,000 logs per second, and we can consume 150,000. So that's all of Twitter logged on one box, running at less than peak performance. They produce 800 tweets a second, and our smallest collector can capture 1,000 a second. Throw in the NAS and SAN storage, and you can see why a major U.S. network provider currently trusts us in their data centers to log internet use, capturing, indexing, and reporting on over 52 billion logs per day. LogLogic ST, the world's most scalable, flexible IT data warehouse. Thanks for watching.